Thank you, Madam Chair. I wonder if across the House there was going to be a substantive call, but I somehow doubt it. We were slowly going through the bill. Slowly going through the bill, and I think, if I remember rightly, we had got to new clause 8, and I want to start talking about clause 9, which is about reductions to sentencing. And I had previously talked about the views of victims, but what I want to talk now is the so-called youth discount. And the bill is for the House proposes that essentially you only get one crack at a youth discount, that you can't get a youth discount twice. Now, I can understand, a little bit like the remorse discount that you can also only get once under this bill, I can understand the kind of eye roll, if you like, of a judge who has someone who perhaps they've seen before, coming before and kind of running out the same old story. But there is actually a reason for the youth discount based in science, and that is about cognitive development, the fact that young people do not have the same decision-making capabilities as people whose brain have properly matured. And I'm concerned that there will be a conflation of age with mental development. So I guess my question for the Minister, and I've actually got an amendment paper on this in respect of clause 9B, my question for the Minister is he satisfied that a judge can look at a person who is young and say that person has, cognitive impairment, perhaps fetal alcohol syndrome, which is a good example where there's significant cognitive impairment, or even just developmental delay. So they might be 21 years old, but in fact, for whatever reason, their cognitive development is that of a 16-year-old. Now, is that cognitive delay able to be taken into account, or is that kind of tied up in this youth discount? And if the answer is, that's all part of the youth discount, then my amendment paper comes into play, which would put a new subsection 3 in clause 9B. And that would essentially say, the words I've proposed are, provided that this does not preclude the court from taking into account the psychological and cognitive development of the offender in sentencing. Because the fact of the matter is that, young people's cognitive development has been conclusively shown to impair good decision-making. And I guess the irony of the no to youth discounts is that you don't stop being young. You don't you don't magically become more grown up once you're sentenced and given a youth discount. You're still suffering from the fact that your brain does not work as good as a mature brain. So my question to the Minister is, how are we going to ensure that judges are still given the ability to take into account the kind of psychological development, the cognitive development, the actual brain growth and physical growth, as well as the kind of mental maturity? How are we going to be able to take those things into account when it looks like the youth discount, in fact, kind of sweeps that away? And I guess the other thing about this is, in terms of the discount and the youth discount, is the need for, because this is about deterrence, the need for the offender to know that they have been given a once-only discount. Now, there is a general rule that you have sentencing notes, but again, you've got a person who might not be particularly literate or particularly well equipped. What steps will be put in place so that when they are actually sentenced, they take away something which says to them, here you go, this is a youth discount, you only get it once. And of course, it requires, in many cases, the courts will kind of make a mishmash decision. This requires a slicing off of youth and saying, this is the discount for youth. Of course, the other risk is that judges won't give youth discounts on a first offence for the very reason that it's a once-only thing. So I'd be interested in that, Minister.
Dr. Lawrence.
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question that the Minister has yet to have answered.
Do you have a dog barking in the background?
Yes, I did have it. Yes, yeah, there was a dog barking in the background.
A habit that I always make when I'm listening to the speeches is I turn off my mic because it's like wacky stuff can happen in the background. But yeah, I was looking through the regulatory impact statement. You know, I'm going to be very loud and clear about this. The people that support youth being treated as adults in courts, but you know, are like going on this anti-woke thing about gender-affirming care, can honestly GTFO, because those two things are not comparable. One is medical care that involves a network of medically trained adults and parents. The other one is, oh yeah, no, you only get one chance, kiddo, to fuck up, and now you're going to be treated as an adult. But yeah, I mean, limiting youth discounts could violate the New Zealand Bill of Rights, including the right to be free from discrimination. And the ministry recommends exempting under 18-year-olds from the policy in line with the Convention of Rights of the Child. So that's UNCROC. And this is based on censusing data, from 2019 to 2023. 52% of Māori young adults would not qualify for a youth discount. That's pretty fucking scary. But there is no evidence that this bill is going to reduce recidivism rates, and we have evidence that prisons often serve as a pipeline for kids joining a gang.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. News, got the order, paper.